Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that I am Professor Robert E. G. Black, and this is the Groundhog Day Project.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
It's a thing where the same day keeps happening.
Time.
I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd.
The last revision is what counts, apparently.
We're on minute 53 of Groundhog Day, which begins with Phil and Rita approaching the Cherry Street Inn and ends with Phil being problematic as fuck. We're, of course, getting the tail end of the song, You Don't Know Me, and then in the background, No, You Don't Know Me, and it fades out. I talked about the lighting of this moment here and how you wouldn't actually be able to see the house back there and see the fence as well as you do, and the snow's got that nice glow you always get in movies, but that's basically because they're pointing giant lights down onto it. But it pointed out they had old-fashioned light posts that they had put in place for the film, and one of them is in the background here, fairly visibly. I just never talked about it before because I didn't know until today, as I'm recording some of these episodes, that those were put in by the production. I just assumed they were what's on the street. And they're light posts, so I didn't think about it. And when I was there in person, even if I had noted that the light posts weren't there or there were different ones there, I would just have thought, yeah, over 20 years at that point, this was in 2014, cities change things. So I wouldn't have thought anything of it. Light posts are one of those things you don't see until you see. That's why there's a famous piece of art down at, what was that, LACMA, LA County Museum of Art, which you've probably seen in movies here and there. It's just a bunch of lampposts all like in a grid pattern next to each other. That's the art installation. It's showing these lampposts that we don't normally see out of their context. And it puts them in a new context. And it's a cool art piece just because it's taking this very basic thing we probably don't even think about, like what light posts look like. They're walking, and Rita, I don't know what she's done exactly. She's happy, she's smiling, she's walking with him, whatever. Phil says, what? And she says, I'm just amazed. And I'm not easily amazed. I made a YouTube edit, of course, pointing out how she is easily amazed. Like, the first time we see her, she's amazed by a blue screen. And she works in a news studio. That blue screen is always there. Always in use. She shouldn't be amazed by it. She is easily amazed. But I understand her saying it. She probably wouldn't think she's easily amazed. And he says, about what? How you can start a day with one kind of expectation and end up so completely different. Okay, just going nice. Phil asks, well, do you like the way this day is turning out? I like it very much. It's a perfect day. You couldn't plan a day like this. And he says, well, you can. It just takes an awful lot of work. Right, what work did it take? Final version of the date night.
Or, more accurately, the peak version of date night.
Phil had to know what she wanted to drink. Phil had to know what she wanted to toast. Phil had to know that she appreciated the line about the sun hitting the buildings in Rome. He had to know that she studied French poetry so that he could then quote a Belgian song because he knew that he could get away with it because she's not going to call him on it. She's just going to be so excited that he's speaking French that when he just says oui, she's good and doesn't ask for more. Then he has to know where to find a carrot, where to find coal. He has to go get them. He has to have those in his pocket. He has to know the kids are coming, or he paid the kids to come, to throw the snowballs. After they throw the snowballs, he has to know that Rita's going to stumble into the snowbank, and he's going to try to get that going next time, and we're going to see how it goes awkwardly when he tries to force it. When they're dancing in the gazebo, is there music actually playing? I don't know. Does he have to know when the song is playing over the speaker in the gazebo? Are there speakers in the gazebo? I don't know. I don't remember there being speakers, but maybe the speakers were on when I was there, so I didn't notice that there's speakers in this gazebo. And there might be speakers in this gazebo because they do a lot of events at this gazebo. And I just said the word gazebo way too many times. Or is there no music playing and they're dancing to the imagined music of their own romance? He has to know that Rita will walk back to Cherry Street with him. He has to be ready to ask follow-up questions when she's happy. Come on in. I want to show you something. I don't think I should, Phil. I don't think you should either. That's why I'm just going to show you this one thing and kick you right out. Just 1 minute. That convinces her. She's not that adamant about leaving yet. But picture this. Phil gets up at 6 a.m. He gets ready without a shower. He gets presumably dressed fairly quickly. But he doesn't end up at Gobbler's Knob until 7:20. Is he really slow at getting dressed? Does he stop somewhere for coffee after having the coffee from the Cherry Street Inn? Does he stop for a pastry? Does he stop for... why does he take so long to get to Gobbler's Knob every morning? Is Gobbler's Knob really, really far away? Which goes back to my complaint about their whole, I was going to say living situation, but it's not a living situation. It's just their room for the night. The fact that they put Phil up at the Cherry Street Inn, but the van is parked at the square next to the Pennsylvania Hotel where Larry, presumably, but definitely Rita, are staying, trusting Phil to just walk there every morning? I was annoyed in Ruben's original script where Rita kept being outside the Cherry Street telling Phil to hurry up whenever he come out, as if she was staying close by. But I think it's important, even in that script, but especially in the film, that the Cherry Street Inn is not on the square. It is far away. I don't think it's an hour away, even walking. And in reality, it's not an hour away. It's like a mile and a half, 2 miles. I don't know the actual distance, and I was probably walking pretty slow because I was looking at things when I was there.
Google Maps says it is only 0.4 miles, so actually a lot less than I was thinking. That is from Cherry Street to the center of the square.
Is she going to walk back to the hotel by herself? Or did they walk all the way to Cherry Street? Maybe they're doing, as I said last minute, they're coming not from the direct route to the square. The direct route to the square would be where we're facing them. It would be behind us to walk north up the street behind us. That would be how you get to the square. So their walk has gone in a big loop. Time loop. So maybe they weren't even planning to go to the Cherry Street. Phil may have purposely come by there to try to get her to come in, but they were just going in a big loop and we're going to circle back around to the square so he could drop her off at the hotel and then walk home. Which in the coming slap sequence, we're going to see that he does walk her back to the hotel, for sure. So I guess he's going to walk with her if she's going to go. Or is she just going to leave? What's she thinking right now? She knows where he's staying. She probably sees that they're on Cherry Street. Maybe she even, when she saw that they were on Cherry Street, she's like, oh, show me the bed and breakfast where you're staying, because she hasn't seen it yet. Because Larry dropped her off first, which also doesn't make any sense. You drop off the person that's at the separate location first, then you drive, park your van where you're going to leave it until tomorrow so you can get a good broadcast signal if you're broadcasting, but you're not broadcasting, so why did you even bring the van when you could have just come in a car? I guess the camera belongs in the van, but it's weird they brought a van with an antenna and aren't broadcasting live. They should have been broadcasting live, which actually would make it funnier when Phil just drops the mic and walks away, because then they're live. What are you going to do? One version of the script has, I don't think we hear her talking, but we do see that Rita picks up the mic, like she's going to go be on screen and actually talk. And that would be funny. If he's broadcasting live and like she really has to deal with, like, there's none of that stuff we got. We're like, can we try it again without the sarcasm? You can't try it again without the sarcasm because it was live. It should be live. It's not. I don't know why they brought the van. I don't know why when they did bring the van, they dropped off Rita first, then drove Phil to the Cherry Street, I guess, and then drove back to the hotel in the square. And then because they're parked on the square, definitely don't go pick up Phil, which means they're depending on him to get there. Maybe he doesn't even know the route, which is why it takes fucking hour and 20 minutes to get there every morning. I don't know. Why does it take him so long the second morning? He should be better at it. Why does it take him so long the third morning, the fourth morning? Why does he barely arrive on time? Eventually, we will see him arrive early when he shows up with coffee and pastries. I don't know how early. They're getting a chance to choose their setup position, which means Larry gets there early every day. Good for Larry. Phil's like, yeah, I'm just going to show you this one thing and then kick you out. That's a nice move. It's both blatantly false and it's enough that she can run with it. She can be like, yeah, he's going to just show me a thing. He's just showing me something. Then we go to the inside of the bedroom. The only dialogue we get here is Rita saying it's just lovely. But what's important here, going back to lighting, is we do get a sense of the entire room. We've already seen, we don't have context that it's in this room yet, but we will by next minute. The fireplace is not seen in this minute, but it is off to the right in this beginning of the shot. We see the couch. That's the couch where Phil was making out with Nancy. We see the railing in the background. That is the railing by the stairs that go down and then turn. And where do they come out? We've seen Phil come out in the hall when he meets man in hallway. That door goes to stairs that go up to, essentially, this is the attic. So we know where those stairs go. In the reality of the set, the stairs go nowhere, but I'll talk about that more in a minute or two when Rita leaves. We see flowers. We see some sort of cabinet over there on one side. We can't quite see the windowsill where we get ice cream later, but it's off to the left. We're getting a sense of the whole space. Behind us, as this shot begins, is the bed area, which we've seen multiple times. Camera pans with Rita as she walks into the bed area, and, this is the thing I was talking about before, where Phil was maybe even more problematic than tricking Nancy into a date. As I've said, the film gives us enough information to assume that Nancy is willing. Nancy is looking for a guy to go out with anyway, and we can read into the fact that she went back to the room with him immediately as she was into it. So we can forgive. I don't think we can forgive this as much because if you watch this moment, Rita walks in by the bed, and then she turns to leave that spot, and what does Phil do? He steps in her way. He doesn't do it too forcefully. The film doesn't want to turn him into a rapist, But he does do it. He steps in her way and is like, at least for a moment, is blocking her way out of the bedroom. Not by force. He's just kind of there. He's playing the odds. What are the odds that if I get in her way, she'll stay here? And if she fights, he won't do it tomorrow. If she hesitates, he'll do it again tomorrow and see what else he can get away with. He's not just getting away with everything all at once. It's one piece at a time. One piece at a time. He's slowly building this night into the perfect version of this night. But as I said last minute, this is the peak version of this night. It's all downhill from here. But we still have a little bit more of the peak next minute. Until then, go have a peak night of your own. Go on a date night with your significant other, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, whatever you want to call them. And have a good time. Live life and make it fun. Because so much of life is outside of our hands and our control. So, when you can control it, do something good. Do something you enjoy with the people you enjoy doing things with.
You knew you were going to say that.
This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. Also, you can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops.
What is wrong in the end which never comes? Or which comes again and again, lapping, like waves.
Since the Big Bang set everything in motion, everything that happens in this universe has to be the way it is. Particles unfolding the way they're destined to.
How do you sleep at night? You've never seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah, Groundhog Day is not a documentary.
Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie?